Welcome to Front. Front is the modern customer operations platform, and it's one pane of glass where I can go. I'll put on my hat as a customer service agent to take care of all of my work. Just to orient y'all to the screen here on the top left-hand side, I have my navigation panel. And again, Front is a place where I can bring in my personal email inbox, right? We'll see my Sammy at, as well as a place where I can manage the conversations, the tickets that are assigned to me or shared with me. We'll talk more on that in a little bit. Front is also a place where I can collaborate with my team. So I've got my team or shared inboxes down here below. And when we think about an inbox, really, I like to conceptualize it as a container or a space to house all of the inbound communication, regardless of the channel. So this could be messages coming into our support at front.com. This could be people logging onto our website's support tab and logging a chat. This could be, a social channel like Instagram or Facebook, SMS, right? The list goes on. There's lots of ways we can bring information into Front. And again, Front provides us that omni-channel place to aggregate all of our communications. Here in the center, I've got a modern interface where I can see all of the conversations in this inbox. I can see what's unassigned, what's assigned, as well as we can use statuses like waiting and resolved to track these tickets as they come in. We'll see I've got a number of unassigned messages here. When they hit our inbox, we're giving them each a support ticket ID. We're also attaching an SLA or that reply time goal so that me and my team can respond in a timely manner. Of course, that's something we can report on as well. Before we jump in and start working on this message, a couple more things just to orient you to on the side. I have a bunch of plugins where we'll bring rich information right into the context of work. We'll talk more about that in a second. And also across the top bar here, I have access to my calendar. I can manage my contacts. And then of course, we'll dive into analytics in a little bit. We can even manage a knowledge base within Front. So again, just threw a laundry list of things at you, but there's a lot that Front can do and we can do it all in one spot. I'm getting a request from Leighton, and it's about maybe an issue that they're experiencing with the app. When we log into the app and try to go to settings, the app keeps crashing. I think it's a bug. Can someone please help out? A couple things has happened. One, like we talked about, we've given this message a ticket ID as well as an SLA, and we've also automatically applied a tag, in this case, bug, to the message. Now, tags, this one was added by a rule, right? We could tag things manually here if we want to jump in and add more tags to this conversation. And we'll talk about this in a little bit too. We can also use AI to scan the subject and body of messages and start to apply tags so that we can use those to categorize, organize, and work on these messages. Typically, when I talk to folks, there's a couple of different ways that maybe they collaborate on inbound requests, whether that's cherry picking off of a queue, whether that's having specific routing rules to assign to specific people, or maybe a more of a round robin approach. For today, I'm just going to go ahead and assign this message to myself. And what we'll see here is it's going to move from our unassigned queue into our assigned queue. And then my assigned to me count of open conversations that I'm working on is going to go up by 1. So I'll go ahead and assign that to myself, right? We'll see I have one more added to my workload. If we jump into this assigned section, I can see this message hasn't left the inbox, so everyone on our team still has visibility, but I can start working on this message. Now, this is a little bit of a trickier one. I'm actually not quite sure how to handle this myself. And so really what's helpful for me is in the past, I would have to go into Slack or Teams or shout across the office to get support from a teammate. But in this case, I can actually use this internal comments bar to collaborate on this conversation right within Front. And so I know my teammate Jacob is really knowledgeable. I'm going to invite him to this conversation. And we can see here that he has been added as a participant. He's actively reading this conversation now. And right within the same context of this email, we can start working together on creating a draft for Leighton. And so I can see here that Jacob, again, sent me that internal note back. And these are comments that are going to stay internal just to your organization, right? Leighton's never going to see this back and forth. And so we eliminate the worry of, oh, shoot, did I reply all too far down in the thread and send all the comments back? We're not duplicating work by sending emails about emails. And I can see in real time that Jacob is editing this draft. There's collision detection in place. So for example, I'm not able to edit this draft while Jacob's still working on it. But if I wanted to go ahead and take over, awesome. Thank you, Jacob. This draft looks great. So just like that, again, in real time, we've seen how easy it is to collaborate with teammates inside of Front. Rather than having to context switch back and forth between systems, we can collaborate right in the same thread. And some of our survey data shows that this can help save as much as 10 hours per teammate per week when it comes to working all in one spot. I mentioned plugins earlier. I'm kind of moving into chapter 2 here. And really, there's over 100 out-of-the-box plugins or integrations that you can bring into Front to surface the right context and the right information for your organization's needs. Right. So, for example, if let's go back into our unassigned queue and take a look at this note from Elias. Right. If we jump into our contacts pane here, we can see a bunch of rich information coming in about Elias. This can maybe be syncing with our Salesforce or our HubSpot or CRM, right? And we can store key information like where are they located, who is their CSR. We can also see in here all of our past conversations with this individual, as well as maybe internal notes that folks have left on Elias's account. So I can see here that they talked about adding more licenses, but have a few more questions prior to signing. So again, whether it's CRM information or maybe you're working in an e-commerce space and you have a Shopify storefront and you want to bring Shopify data into the pane of work, Front is extensible and we can bring that information in so that we have to switch systems a lot less. And so this way, a new hire or a seasoned veteran employee can quickly gain context to personalize their responses, while operating at scale. And let's actually start to talk about how we can use AI to augment our work. We'll see here that, this looks like a pretty simple question, password reset, right? Now, maybe in the past we'd used templates. That's certainly a way we can approach this today. But something we can do with Front is have a suggested reply. And this suggested reply is going to scroll our knowledge base or knowledge source that we've connected it to in Front. And if it can find a suitable solution, it's going to recommend a draft email for us to take up. So this looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and accept this suggested reply. And I can see here, we've got, again, that nice step-by-step flow of how Elias can go in and reset their password. What's great about a suggested reply rather than an auto reply is it still leaves me room to tweak and adjust this message body as I need, right? And so maybe I want to make this a little bit friendlier. I can easily do that with the help of Compose with AI, right? I can fix spelling and grammar errors if I wrote a couple short bullet points and I wanted to expand that into a paragraph, right? If in this case, I want to maybe make it a little bit more friendly, I can select my option there, and then AI will do the work of redrafting that message for us. So again, I'll go ahead and make a couple more minor edits, and just like that, this is ready to go. So again, saves me a ton of time in responding to those routine requests, as well as augments my ability as an agent to find and locate the right information to resolve this customer inquiry more efficiently. Again, saving me time to work on more of those complex, higher value interactions there. In addition to composing with AI, something that maybe happens to me a lot as a service agent is I'm getting done with my shift or I'm recently coming on and there's a backlog of messages or maybe there's notes that I need to leave commonly for employees or colleagues that are jumping in on the thread after me. Especially for maybe those complex use cases where we're going back and forth with our customers quite a lot. What's really helpful for me is leveraging AI summary. So I can jump back into my assigned to me section. And again, we have an inbox zero philosophy here at Front. So your open queue is where everything on your to-do list is living. We can use snoozed to let us have a reminder for opening something back up in the future. And I'll show that in a second. But we've got quite a long thread here, right? And it would take me quite some time to read through all of these emails. What's great with AI Summarize is I get a one-liner summary right up here at the top of the page that is auto-generated based off of the conversation history. If I need to drill deeper and get some more information, I can click into the summary and read a quick bullet point synopsis of, in this case, all the things that are going on with respect to this shipment. And again, this is going to auto update as the conversation evolves. So we always have the latest and most up-to-date info at our fingertips. So that's super helpful. And circling back to, again, just leveraging AI, not just on an email channel, but also in a chat channel, we have the ability to embed AI in chat, as well as help your service organization deflect those easy, common to resolve use cases, right? So maybe I'm on our website and I am, in our chat widget, and I have a couple different options, but none of my options are really satisfied. So I'm going to go ahead and click other as the customer. Now our chatbot will ask us an open-ended question where I can respond with a plain text response. Can I add an SMS channel to front? Similar to what we saw for suggested replies, in this case, because chat is maybe a little bit more of a low stress medium where it's okay to have quick responses, we're going to look at our knowledge base again. And if we can find an answer, like we're seeing here, our chatbot will go ahead and reply that to the customer. We can see we've even embedded the knowledge article sources where we derived the answer from. So this is great for me as an end customer because I know that this AI tool is not hallucinating. I can go exactly to the place where I need to read up on the info I need. But I get that, high level summary information right in that response back from the bot. What's great is there's also always a human in the loop. So in this case, right, AI successfully resolved my message. But if, for example, I had more questions, or needed more specification around a certain issue, I could select no, this answer has not been satisfied. Excuse me, this answer is not satisfactory, and I could connect right to a person. So I'll just write in a little bit extra. And we can see because Front is omni-channel, we can pull this conversation along with its relevant history right into our chat inbox. And we can see it's already been routed to me. I can see the interaction with our AI assist, our chat tool, and then I can continue the conversation right here, chatting with our customer on the website. So a great way, again, to deflect those easy to answer questions and again, help your team focus on the more complex, higher value service interactions. Again, we're not just letting AI run in a vacuum. We're implementing it in a way that is grounded on your knowledge, where humans are accessible where you want them to be as well. So again, AI is a tool that can help get people promoted, not replaced. And ultimately, we know that AI intelligence is AI. It's not human intelligence. So if you need a little bit more empathy, if there's certain workflows that you don't want to have AI working on, you get a lot of fine-tuned controls for how you want to enable functionality like this in your front instance. Right, so AI chat helps with those deflections, and also AI summarize and compose, again, frees up our agents to focus again on that high value work, as well as, again, cutting down on the time it takes to catch up on messages when they're coming on or offline. One more thing with respect to AI that we can pick up on with rules is we can tag conversations based on AI. So for example, in this conversation, Sarah's reaching out maybe to discuss the details of the upcoming renewal, right? There's no word in that email, there's no keyword that says sales. But within Front, we can create tags and train them on prompts so that we can apply them based on what the subject or message body of an email contains. And this is really helpful because with tags, like we said earlier, we can use these for routing, we can use these for assignment. There's things that we can pull into rules to then take action on. So it'll help us, again, prioritize maybe more of those urgent conversations, as well as maybe routing to the right person, like a member of our sales team or a CSM, if this is related to a renewal or an AM, right? What have you. So jumping into the back end of Front a little bit, we're in our company settings here, and I'm in my workspace. And there's a number of different rules that are running behind the scenes to create a seamless end user experience in Front. It's really easy for me to create a new rule inside of Front. You don't need to have a PhD in Front in order to do this. And we even have done a lot of the legwork for you by talking with our customers and creating templates for some of the most commonly used rules. So that AI tag that we just saw, that was applied with our tag by topic AI based rule, right? We can also tag by keywords. That's like that bug that we saw earlier. We can create rules to route messages to the right teams or the right teammate at the right time. We can accelerate your workflows by, again, using rule logic in front to send notifications or information to other systems. Again, front is extensible. Or we can create a rule from scratch, and that's honestly just as easy. When it comes to creating a rule, we'll just give our rule a quick name. Let's say route by account manager. And then all of our rules follow a when, if, and then trigger. So in this case, when an inbound message is received, we'll say if this conversation is maybe in our priority queue, right? If maybe someone's spend is above a certain level, or they have a certain status as our customer, then maybe we know that companies or customers in that status have an account manager assigned. We want to assign to our account manager. So we'll go ahead and we'll assign based off of our account or contact custom field. And again, calling back to that details pane where we opened up and read more on Elias's customer record or contact record. Again, we can action off of that information in order to route conversations to the right people at the right time. So again, we're pulling in that data into this rule, and then we can take action on it. And then this is a really elegant and simple but powerful logic when it comes to managing rules in front. And I could probably talk to the cows come home about all the other cool things we can do with rules, but we'll leave it at there for now. And again, just the value here is it takes the guesswork out of knowing who needs to do what when, right? If you've ever been pulling tickets down and trying to find out who needs to respond to what, Front's rules and automation make that a breeze for you. These are the same rules and automations that can power things like SLAs, right? And can also help us pull those metrics like CSAT, SLA response times, resolution speeds, and more. So speaking of metrics, everything that we've touched on is in front is something that you can report off of. And we really give you kind of two flavors of dashboards. One is a live real-time dashboard where we can see kind of a bird's eye view across our business. How many tickets are open, how many tickets are waiting on some action, right? As well as we can drill deeper into specific inboxes. And then what I love here too is we can actually dive even deeper into specific conversations. So in this case, we're looking at our oldest conversations in front. I can jump directly into this conversation and I can see the history of it. And maybe I can take action here, and I'll mention Jacob here and I'll say, hey, Jacob, please take over, right? And then Jacob can go ahead and jump right into this conversation thread and start moving this conversation forward. So our insights are actionable. That's our real-time dashboard. We also give you access to a ton of rich historical information rather than putting the onus on you to kind of come up and configure every little report. We've created 7 key report types that are customizable and configurable once you're inside of them. So these are the 7 key reports that ship with Front. And then inside, we have access to a multitude of metrics that we can use to evaluate the metrics that are important to us. Say metrics 5 times fast. I feel like that's what I just did. So our team performance dashboard, right? We get a heat map so we can see when are our busiest times of the week. When might we need to staff more people to a particular shift, right? We can also drill deeper into team performance, right? And this is a great tool for coaching when it comes to understanding average reply time and more. Again, if there's more metrics that we wanted to see here, right, we could add those on to our chart here and get one centralized place to look at all this. Similarly here, we can drill deeper into these conversations that are going in and actually making up these metrics. Again, so these reports are actionable. We talked about tags a little bit too. Tags are super helpful because we can use tags to help understand what are the types of conversations that we're having, right? And where are we spending our time? In this case, most of our conversations are untagged. So maybe we need to ask the question, do we have kind of the right labels set up to manage all of our conversations? And then we can see in a really interesting way here all of our percentage conversations by specific tags, and then metrics related to each of those tags. So are some incidents or some issues taking more time than others? How much time are we spending, on urgent things versus, our VIP customers, right? So again, helping us get a good cross section of all the conversation that's flowing through Front. And last but not least, we touched on the idea of CSAT earlier in our conversation. CSAT is at the core of what Front does as well. We aim to help you deliver that outstanding customer service for your customers. And so we can ship a CSAT report in your email signature and then bring all that information back inside of Front. Again, looks like we have some work to do here. This is just the demo org, right? But what's great is we can slice and dice even CSAT by customer, right? So we can understand, are people getting uneven experiences across our service experience? Across the top, I'd be remiss not to mention we can play around with date and range filters. So again, we can look at the period of time that is most impactful to us. And we can also create custom and specific views at the top here so that if there's a type of metric or a type of time period that we want to look at specifically, we can save that and pin that for future reference, right? Rather than having to come in and retoggle all of that. And last but not least, too, we can also schedule a report to run on a regular basis to give us or other key stakeholders insight into what's going on in our organization. And so again, customer insights that you need, you can get directly in Front without having to leave the platform. It's the control center you need to see things again down at that granular conversation level, or like we're seeing here, more at that 5,000-foot view. And these are insights that are actionable, right? They're going to allow you to give specific feedback to individuals on your team, as well as identify bottlenecks in your organizations, or even maybe with tags, uncover and understand incidents before they become a big problem.